All right, man. Happy Friday. I want to say GM, but it's not morning anymore, but I'm going to say it anyways. GM to everybody. How's everybody doing? We throw some hearts. Thank you guys for tuning in. JT, man, I'm super excited for this one. We haven't had a one on one, and so I know a lot of the stuff that you do, it's in the same direction of what we're doing. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we need to go over. Just for anybody who hasn't joined into the creative mind before, this space is just a one-on-one conversation between me and the creative. It's super organic. Nothing is planned. Whatever the conversation goes, that's where it goes. And then at towards the end, we do have a space where people can come up and ask questions, or somebody who has a statement. But overall, this is like a very one-on-one conversation that is open to the public in real time. These spaces tend to go so many different ways. Just last week, man, it was just a wild one. One for the books. We ended up signing our very first artist to ODK, which is amazing. But this one in particular, man, is super freaking exciting because JT, man, much respect to you and what you do. I am a little familiar, but I'm going to dive into this as if I know nothing of you. So, for those who are not familiar with who I am and what we represent, my name is Andrew Lyko. I'm a contemporary fine artist, overall creative. I've been full time for the past 3.5 years, and I am the founder of One Dope Kids. One Dope Kids is a project, more so a community of like minded individuals, and our ethos is to empower creatives of all kinds: artists, photographers, stylists, musicians, DJs, whatever creative idea that you have and you want to go ahead and pursue that, we're here to support you. So, that being said, JT, man, you want to come up here and introduce yourself before we get straight into it?
Yeah, what's up, brother? Super excited to be here. Just really happy to have this conversation with you. For those who don't know me, my name is JP Liss. I am an artist. I am owner and operator of an arts education company in New York City. Founder of acting nonprofit The Give Back. um, Creator of the Arts Ambassadorship Program, grant program through the Solana Foundation, father, a friend, and just a person ready to vibe out today with y'all.
Yes, sir. Just an absolute beast, man. Super stoked. And so I normally like to just kick off the conversation with, your very first thought of being a creator. As kids, we tend to be influenced by either our parents or friends or just, for most of us, cartoons from back in the day. So for you, can you remember the time that you had that spark of like, yo, I want to make something, just that thought and that feeling? Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, when I was younger, I bounced around a lot with my family. My dad was like he's the manager of like a retail lighting business. So a lot of retail would, go belly up, and we would find ourselves moving to a different state, a different place. And when I was really young, we were staying at my grandparents' house. Ended up probably being for almost 2 years. And my grandfather, he had a best friend that owned a movie, like a video shop. And he used to get all the new releases, he would get all the classics, and he would illegally dub them. And he had a basement of like thousands upon thousands of movies. And for those 2 years, I immersed myself um, into all types of film, and I really found myself gravitating towards cinematography and just the visual aspect of movies without actually realizing what I was immersing myself in. Because I was an athlete. I played soccer my entire life, and I played competitively in college. And you know, during that time growing up, you couldn't do both things. There were different societal norms back then that prevented me from feeling comfortable enough to express my creative side. I guess, for fear of being like made fun of or seen as different. So I completely, went over to the athletic side. And, when I was done with that, I moved to New York City about 15 years ago. And it was just an explosion of this creativity that I had been suppressing for such a long time. And, it started with photography, street photography. And I always found myself really trying to manipulate the photos that I was taking. I had a Dell computer at the time, and it had like these basic equalizers of like highlights and contrasts and shadows. And I would just play with those to extremes and completely change the original photo. And I had a lot of fun doing that. And then I eventually, taught myself other types of programming that involved, layering of photos. And then when that happened, when I was able to take two images and blend them together, that was like the game changer for me. And that was like everything that I was enjoying as, in my youth. All these creative facets that I was suppressing were coming out, during that time. And it was such a good feeling to be able to take an idea and turn it into something, or just go down a creative path and end up in a place that you never thought you'd end up. And so I'm grateful for all those things and those sequence of events, because it led to me being an artist, something that I am proud to say now, where I never thought I'd say it before, actually, if it were years ago.
Dude, it sounds like we have the same storyline. Myself as well, I was an athlete, competitive to college, all that, soccer actually as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and
Oh, sick.
so I know exactly what you mean of like having this feel to create, but then at the same time, you're like, okay, what's more conventional? Well, soccer's going to actually get me somewhere. You know what I mean? Maybe like a scholarship, maybe go pro. And so trying to do two things at once, especially that far off of a world, is pretty difficult. I remember for myself, dude, like I had a lot of times where I struggled because I had this urge to create, but then I had fucking, two training sessions the next day, so I'm like, oh, I can't really do anything. So I would rebel and just, like still try to graffiti here and there, but man, those nights were rough because then you got to show up to practice the next day or a game, and you just like all out of it, and it's like it's very tough to do both, man. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Knowing what you know now, though, all right, would you change anything? Would you adjust maybe some of your decisions early on for like, let's say somebody listening in who's in our same shoes from back then? Like, what would you tell them?
I think it's that duality there. You don't want to change anything from your past, because it's led you to the exact moment that you're in now. But as far as like suppressing all that creativity, I wish I would have been more confident in myself to express that to the people around me. In hindsight, I think that would have been a healthier way to for me to explore that creative side at a younger, because I completely suppressed it. I didn't even try and do anything when I was like in college. And, you know, I feel like if I was able to, maybe something else would have come of it. But I think just, that's the one nugget. I think is just being able to try and figure out who I was, and confidently display that to the world at a younger age.
Now, where do you think that confidence comes from? You know what I mean? Because for the most part, us as human beings, we we all have our own world, right? And we all have different emotions at different times, different days. And so to express these emotions and then have them be not just acknowledged, but like accepted and praised is like, you know, it's a very difficult thing to do because on one side of the fence, you want to express yourself to the fullest, but then on the other side, without even really realizing you're actually like looking for acceptance and connection from people. So it's a very difficult thing to just be like, I'm just gonna be me today. So it's like, what are some of the ways that you kind of overcame that obstacle or that border of just you holding yourself back to the public.
I think it was just it just got to the point where I think I just lived life enough. I didn't really start my artist journey until I was like 26, 27, like officially, and really like announce it to everyone around me that I was really pursuing this. I had this like regular teaching job and I resigned from it to pursue art, and everyone thought I was crazy, and you know people who I were friends with before I wasn't necessarily friends with now because we were just on different paths. And I think if you're able to, it's a funny thing because that life journey of finding out who you are and being confident with who you are, it's different for different people. And some people, maybe they grew up with more of a support system that allowed them to feel confident at a younger age because they knew whatever they were going to do that they were going to get supported. Or on the flip side, if you didn't get any support at all and you realized that you were the only person you could count on, then maybe you're like, screw everything else and I'm just going to do me. So it's a lot of different life experiences that play into that. But for mine personally, I think the confidence that I got in playing sports and being good at soccer, and receiving that feedback allowed for me, I think, to take more chances as I got older, because I was like, I did this thing. I committed the majority of my life to getting really good at something. So why can't I do that again with something else? And I think that was really the key for me personally.
Yes, bro, perspective. The power of the mind, man. Your mentality, your mindset is probably one of the only things that you can control in any environment that you're in. Doesn't matter if you have a support system or you don't. I mean, you see it all the time, especially in movies, right? Where, let's say, for instance, a child has a very alcoholic parent, and there's two kids. One becomes a fucking alcoholic, and the other one becomes an absolute, complete opposite. So it just comes down to your mindset and how you're able to control that situation and tell yourself, okay, all right, bet all these things happening to me right now, this position that am in right now, it might not be all because of me, but you know what? It's up to me to see how I navigate out of it.
Yeah, I think, mindset is probably one of the biggest factors in whatever level of success that you're trying to reach. There's moments early on in my career where no one cared about what I was doing at all. And, I had to keep telling myself, like, this is exactly where you're supposed to be right now. This moment right now, this struggle that you're in right now is not for nothing. You know, these L's that you're taking along the way, these rejections that you're getting from galleries and from different spaces and from different communities is just there to help you get better until they can no longer not pay attention to you, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people in the space right now, I feel, they're younger for the most part. There's a lot of younger artists in the space, a lot of them who have been artists for a couple of years, even a couple of months, and this, a lot of them are going through their first real difficult moment with the market, with the lack of sales, and it's extremely challenging. But that is what is going to allow them to break through these barriers later on. It's a long journey. This. The artist journey is a long journey. The journey to any level of success is not short at all. It's winding and it's long and it's frustrating. And you have these little glimpses and moments that keep you going, but only so much until you reach another barrier that you have to get through and a different level that you reach with its new challenges, right? And so, mindset throughout all of that is the most important thing, in my opinion, to continue to keep going, right? Because how many times have we felt we wanted to quit before? But something keeps telling us to keep moving forward. And that's why we're here.
1,000%, and I think that discipline and perspective of playing a sport. You know, you said you took the same mindset from you playing soccer and putting all those hours and developing your skills, right? And over time, you got better and better. So you just literally took that same concept and you're like, hey, if I apply this to art, like, dude, it's the same shit. You know, just got to put in the time, the hours, like it's the same thing. So I completely agree with you on that. And on another note, there's this guy named Simon Sinek that I've been following for quite some time, and he has a very interesting perspective. Like his thing is to come into businesses and help them reshape the mindset of the business, right? Like the structure. And one of the things that he preaches is the infinite build, like the infinite game, right? So you shift your perspective into thinking and realizing that no matter what you're doing in your life, um, think of it as an endless journey. Like it's never going to end. Yeah, you might reach certain goals and stuff, but if you look at it from that perspective, like, you know, one bad day is not really going to matter, dude. You're going to be like, bro, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, this is never going to end, you know? So on the other side, when you win and you get dubs and stuff along the way, you're like, okay, this is cool. Like, yeah, I'll take this dub, but I know that, you know, tomorrow might not be the same. So again, infinite build. Like I'm ready to do this shit every single day, and that's how shit's gonna get done, no matter what.
Yeah, it's like it's like Nipsey in the marathon. It's like if you catch that W and you feel good, but don't feel good for too long, right? Don't hold on to that because that moment's fleeting. Just as the bad moments are fleeting, the good moments and the wins are fleeting as well. And so take it, you know, internalize it for a bit, celebrate for a moment, but just like you said, it's time to continue to grow because this is a lifelong journey for people who want to do this. I want to be an artist for the rest of my life and I want to continue. So whatever comes my way, both good and bad, I will take that in for what it's worth, either a lesson or a mini celebration to then move forward from, you know?
Definitely, man. I completely agree. Now let's take this back to you a little bit more personal. So, you know, what are some of the things that growing up, you know, maybe describe your environment a little bit. What are some of the things that you were afraid of? You know, some stuff that were like, I don't know, maybe it's just holding you back from you really being you, or some things that you just couldn't overcome. It took you a while to overcome. Talk about that a little bit.
I think the my family wasn't necessarily unsteady, but our situation was unsteady. I never spent more than like a year, maybe two, at one particular spot. So I remember getting a lot of anxiety, like moving to a new place, having to make new friends, having to start a new school year in a brand new school with new people. And that really, like, to this day, I'm still more of an introverted person than I am like extroverted. Like, if I show up to like an event by myself, it takes a lot to do that, and it takes a lot to muster up the confidence to talk on spaces a lot of the times, and so that has always been a challenge, um, and I think it relates definitely back to just that uneasiness, not feeling like I had my feet on the ground, and when I did, knowing that you know inside that at some point I'm going to have to leave again, um, definitely impacted me for sure.
Yeah, man, I can imagine, especially as a kid, you know, living that situation. And the reason I asked is because I see that you have a nonprofit, so I wanted to like kind of tap into your mind and see where that came from. You know, what sparked that idea and that overall energy to want to start a nonprofit. Um,
Yeah, I went to school for social work, and like post grad, I worked at a residential facility for like young boys who are like severely like mentally, physically, sexually abused. I worked there for about 2 years before I was just completely burnt out from it. I got promoted to like a supervisory position at a 30-day emergency shelter for teens, and got got burnt out after like 2 years of that. Just seeing like these kids that start their life with minimal to no chance whatsoever, and to try and help them navigate their experience as best as I could, really made me want to continue to do things for kids in underserved communities. So then I moved to New York City. I became a full-time teacher in the Bronx. Ended up starting this education company in the Bronx, and just that wanting to help and to help shed a light on communities that are underrepresented just kind of bled itself into the Web3 space. I noticed that there were a lot of artists from different communities that were just not getting the attention they deserved. So I wanted to play a small role in helping to highlight those individuals, those talented artists from different parts of the world, um, buy their work with whatever funds I was able to help raise, and just like support on some level to try and keep them in the space and to try and just help them. And so that's where the give back comes from. It's just it's like a 501c3 that uh, tries to highlight and shed light and financially support artists in underserved communities in Web3.
Dude, I fuck with that heavy, pretty similar ethos over here. And it's interesting to see because, you know, based on our background, how we grew up with, and like the things that influenced us, we made this choice to be like, you know what? Yeah, this art stuff is cool. I'm doing it. I found a way, but like that's just not enough for me. Like I need to be able to pass this on to other aspiring creators who are wanting a similar lifestyle because it's definitely not easy, man. Like, it's quite common to talk about yourself, but yeah, I'm an artist, and people look at you like, okay, like damn, this guy's probably broke as fuck. And so it's a very difficult niche, but it's not impossible, right? And it nowadays, especially with Web3, man, it makes me so fucking excited because the opportunities are much more now. Like back in my time, or not back in my time, but like back in my cousin's time, like they grew up, they were born 1980. I was born 1990, and so seeing how they let go or their desire to create based on how difficult it was to make a career out of it, it's quite sad, man. Like I had very talented cousins. Like they were the ones that influenced me into art. One was a artist. He actually ended up becoming an art professor, art teacher. But like, you can tell like that wasn't his fucking dream. And the other one was a rapper, and he was extremely talented. But again, like the opportunities just weren't there. So the fact that we're able to intertwine and connect and pass around, ideas and talk to people from all over the world and be in spaces like this without even knowing each other, like it's absolutely insane. So it's like I feel like people now, especially creators now, really have a higher chance of getting their stuff out there and finding their community that appreciates it.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I personally have done like prior to Web3. Like I used to curate shows in the city, and I was just always trying to put artists on. It's just something that has always stayed with me. If I'm able to catch a few W's along the way, I always want to reach back and try and pull some people up with me. And when Web3 came around and the opportunity to connect, like you said, with so many people all over the world, like that was such an absolute game changer. Having conversations in spaces like Apa right now, he's in Nigeria, and like I've had conversations with him in Chaos DAO, and they're just incredible humans all over that we are able to connect with. And I'm so grateful to be in this position, to be able to either try and support these artists and shine light on them with simple retweets or quote tweets, or, you know, in a past case, have him help him put on the first Solana based art exhibit in Nigeria through, you know, the foundation and everything. And these are all things that could not have happened prior to Web3. There's no way in hell I would be able to help someone put on a show in another part of the world. And we can do that now. And it's absolutely crazy to think about.
And the more we connect, bro, like the more like-minded individuals that get together, you know, like me and you right now in this space, the more power that we have to make really dope stuff happen. And so this is the reason I do these spaces, man. It's to really just get out there and talk to creatives who have the same passion and want to see creatives fucking win and actually start being acknowledged and represented as they should, you know what I mean? And not just used up and like, okay, one done, on to the next one. Like, bro, there's so much that we can offer into the world. And so I feel like it's up to us to really, you know, make it happen, bro. So I don't care how long it takes, we're gonna make this shit happen. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and take this back to you, man. I want to talk about the art specifically about you and your art. Like, you say you do photography and you're starting to mix a lot of collage and stuff. Like, dude, this is amazing work. You know, what are you currently doing? Talk about your process a little bit. I'm very curious to hear it.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I started off in street photography and found myself like manipulating these images, and then it ultimately, I'll probably lose you again because it's someone calling, but I branched.
It's all good, bro. You know, I'll just throw some hearts around here. Where's the soundboard? Let me just clap it up. There you go. We'll wait for you, bro. You're worth it. How's everybody doing, man? Happy Friday. Dude, these spaces they always leave me
Sorry
feeling
about that.
today. No, you're good, man.
No,
You're
it's my kid's friend. Let me do a
good. I'm over here just chilling, playing with the soundboard. I just ordered some new equipment, by the way. Like, I finally figured out how to play music straight into spaces, which is for me a fucking huge deal because I really like to, you know, curate the vibe from the beginning. And so I figured it out, man. So hopefully by next week,
yeah. Sorry,
it'll be a much better setup. You're back.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry.
Cool.
My phone's connected to my computer, and my kid's friend calls like a million times to play Roblox with her, and she doesn't want to play with him right now, so she's not picking up. So he keeps calling, and so I just had to give him the business real quick.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's funny.
like I was saying, sorry, sorry, y'all. Yeah, so I branched out into like digital collage work, and I'm heavily influenced by, you know, a lot of the surrealists, the Magrittes, the Dali's. My favorite artist of all time is this cat Brian Kerhagis. He's alive. He's in Brooklyn. He's a dear friend, and he kind of showed me the ropes when I first started. He was a mentor of mine, and his work is just absolutely stunning. And I wanted to always take it to this surrealist realm and find ways to blend images, to warp and manipulate images, to hide images that have metaphorical meaning behind them, and to do all this crazy stuff to tell a story. And I wasn't able to do that until I really like honed in on my like collage skills, which took years, you know. And the work that I'm creating now is part of a series that I've been working on for about 7 years called Face Value. It started in 2016. and we're down to the final three pieces that I'll be finishing up hopefully this summer into the fall. And it's a journey of my creative path over the past 7 years. You know, when I started in 2016 with this, I wasn't sure I was ever gonna honestly create again because I just had the birth of my first child. There was huge transitions that were occurring that personally I wasn't prepared for. You know, they you can prepare for parenthood all you want, but when that shit goes down, it's like it changes everything. And I had to get to a point where I had to completely revamp my process. I had to be okay with stepping away from a piece and coming back to it. And it just evolved. And it evolved into these pieces that just tell different stories of different parts of my life in a collage surrealist manner. And I just take these images, or a lot of them are like stock images that I purchased and have the rights to, and I blend them together, and I use some of my photography to blend in, and just create these worlds that are in my brain that I just kind of bring to life with the work.
And how does like a session go down for you? Like, do you have a certain way that you like to do things, or because I'd imagine that you'd have to be kind of structured and organized, right? Uh, Talk about that a little bit. Like, take us through, one of your sessions when you're creating.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be like I would stay up till like the wee hours of the morning to create. You know, the flow state would occur between the hours of like 12 and 5 in the morning, and I would just like lose all sense of time and space and just really go down these rabbit holes. And that had to shift. And now my process is, you know, waking up early in the morning and, you know, starting off with a singular subject or an idea that I'm always writing in journals and notebooks, like on the subway to and from work, just different concepts, different ideas, quotes from books, lyrics from songs, you know, scenes from movies, things that, you know, spark an idea. And then I run with it. You know, it's a lot of kind of putting puzzle pieces together. You know, sometimes I put something on and collage it and I'm sitting with it for an hour and I'm just, what's my next step? Where do I need to go from here? What am I trying to say? What's my intention? Like going through that mental process before I even make another move. And then I may even realize that that's not the direction I want to go, and I scrap it and I start with something else. And it's just this. I enjoy it. The funny thing is like I don't like real puzzles. They frustrate me and they annoy me. But this kind of puzzle, I guess, because there is no right or wrong way to do it, I always end up where I feel I should be. So there's not that goal laid out for me. I'm able to take these side steps and go in these different directions as the process is happening. But it's a big puzzle for me and I really enjoy it. And when I get to the end and when I think it's finished, it's a pretty, you know, for lack of a better term, a surreal experience to think that maybe a few hours ago or a week ago or a few weeks ago even I was staring at a blank canvas with just an idea, you know.
Your stuff is absolutely amazing, bro. It's like I'm looking at it and um, I wouldn't even know where to start. That's how like complex and just kind of crazy it is, which is a great thing because it's like, dude, like how do you even mimic this? You know what I mean? So this is legit just you. This is your style, and I love what you're doing with it. I love that it's not just all so very like straightforward and like this is what it's gonna be. You kind of let it build up, like you said, puzzle pieces, and you just in the moment figuring it out, seeing where it goes. And I think that right there is where the magic happens, right? Where you're channeling, channeling yourself right? And at that moment, how you're feeling, the ideas that you have, the influences, whatever's inspiring you at that moment in time, and you're locking it down in a form of an artistic piece on canvas or photo. And I think that right there is truly amazing. But like, I feel like as creatives, that's like the best thing that we can keep along our journey. If we can just keep that conduit like open and clear, where we're able to just express and put down what we want to put down without having any like type of not regret, but just like outside influences. It's just like, oh, is this right? Or should I be doing this? You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people can get very sidetracked that way, including myself, man. Like there was a point when I was just like, I got to a certain level, and because these people that were telling me like, "Mo, maybe you should try this, maybe you should try that," were high up in the game, right? I was like, well, maybe I should. But deep down inside, I was like, dude, I don't want to do that. But I did it because I was just like, well, they maybe know something I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, fuck that. Follow your gut, create what you want to create. It's cool to take advice. I'm not saying don't take it, but don't feel forced to have to create something that somebody else said to do if that's really not what you're feeling.
Yeah, I think that's such an important part. And like you said before, just remaining open during the process is extremely important, because the more open I am, I feel the crazier places I allow my mind to go without judgment or without any fear. And, like with a piece like There Is No Spoon, it's like this weird, like Rolodex of like images that kind of pop in my brain when I'm like working on something. And, a gramophone pops in my head. Like, oh, let's use a gramophone. Let's put it over here. All right, what does this look like to me now? Oh, the eyeball. We can put an iris inside of the gramophone. And then we can have a little guy kind of turning this key inside of this hole to the gramophone that kind of represents the opening of the eyes and the seeing of something new. And like that just happens in like real time. And it's like this crazy experience to like step outside of yourself and witness while it's happening, and just it comes from simply being open during the process. And that's probably more so than anything the past few years has been what I feel is the greatest tool I've been able to acquire through my process.
Yes, sir. I love it, man. I love to hear it. And dude, it's very inspiring, man. Like this kind of stuff, this type of talk, it motivates me to keep on going as well, dude. So I want you to take a moment right now, right? Let's try something new here. I want you to just take a moment and speak with absolute conviction on JT Liss. Like, where are you going with this? You know what I mean? Like, absolute no, like, outside influence. Just think about yourself, talk about yourself. Where is this going?
To talk about
Don't hold
myself.
back, bro. Like, all in. Like, where are you going? I want you to hold yourself up. I want you to speak with full conviction. Like, dude, let me know where you going.
I am taking my work to the farthest realms my brain can possibly imagine. I feel like I haven't even fully tapped the surface of what I'm capable of. And I've just hit a certain stride here that is it's just a chapter. I already have ideas of what I'm going to do beyond the face value series. I already have ideas of what I'm going to do to help build this space up because it means nothing to me if I can't bring people with me. You
There you go, bro. How does that feel? Damn, must feel amazing. My guy's speechless. What's up, Smoke? What's going on, Appa, Fubi? Thank you guys for tuning in. Yo, JT. Can everybody hear me, or is it am I rugging or is it he rugging? Throw some hearts up if you can hear me. Okay, bet. So it's just JT. Damn. I guess we went too deep, man. We lost them. But nah, I want to appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, these spaces are truly organic. It's a one-on-one conversation with the creative, and what I try to do here is try to tap into their minds and really get out what they're doing, what they want to do, and hopefully by the end of the space, they're left feeling that much more empowered. So that's the reason why we do these, man. And it's a beautiful thing to see and witness these artists, take it to the next level and build up their confidence and have them just really, speak about themselves with full conviction because I feel like that's how it should be. You should be confident about what you do, regardless at what level you're at. Just keep doing it. You'll get better. We have tons of proof that if you follow this method, like this method, things tend to happen, man. So I'm I'm just blessed to be here. I'm blessed to create. Blessed to have ODK. Blessed for everybody who's just vibing with us. I met a lot of dope people in this space, man. That's the reason I come back. Web3 has become a real big part of me, and I don't think I'll ever let it go. So I'm very curious to see where we're at same time next year because a lot of things are happening. So yeah, man. I guess we'll just wait and see if he comes back. Let me go ahead and I mean, all right? We have like 15 minutes left. If anybody wants to come up, by the way, feel free to come up. Just vibe out. We can chop it up. But if not, we'll just wait from. Maybe I'll play some music, man. I'll play a little background music. Hold on, I got you guys. Oh, this is a good track. But yeah, I guess for the ones that are here right now, I'll talk about Window Kids a little bit. Our initiative is exactly what we're doing right now with this space. I myself have gotten pretty far for being an artist. My background was graffiti, and I was able to really just make something out of myself. And right now I'm in fine art. Like I have friends who have sold paintings for like $250,000, bro. It's absolutely insane to see these artists who are living by the way doing those kind of numbers, bro. I'm just like, what in the fuck? Like, how is this my life? You know what I mean? And so this is something I want to share with everybody. That's the reason why I do videos. I'm leaving a blueprint for other creatives to be like, yo, how the fuck did he do that, man? And I'm like, oh, okay. I have a whole ass series of how I did that, bro. Like literally from how I lived my life, the decisions I made, the things I was doing, the people I was surrounding myself with. Like, this doesn't happen overnight, but if you stay consistent and you just follow this fucking method, dude, shit happens. And so, that's really what it's about, man. Like right now, we found a ton of artists that we linked up with. We have good standing relationships with, and we're really planning on doing some incredible stuff that has never been done before. Window Kids is absolutely my life's work. It's actually, let me talk about how I started, man. So the the energy came from me as a kid who was super scared. I grew up in a pretty rough area. Oh, okay, he's back. Yo, what's good? What up? What up?
I just rugged so hard.
It's all good, bro. It gave me time to talk about myself, so no worries.
Go ahead, finish up, man. I want to hear more about the One Dope Kid story, for real.
Hey, I'll make it quick. So basically, man, I grew up in Rialto. It's a pretty rough area, and I was small, bro, very timid, very shy. And I remember, like, I got jumped plenty of times just for no reason. At that time, there was a lot of, like, black on Mexican type of hate, riots, and stuff like that. And so I was just like, bro, like, how the fuck do I stay out of trouble, man? Like, I don't want to fight. And so I gravitated towards graffiti, and that kind of helped and saved my life because I was known as like the dope graffiti kid now, right? It was me and my boy Chris, and same boat. We were just trying to have fun with the parties, DJ, make art without getting into trouble, dude. And so that's where One Dope Kids was born. It was me and him. That's why it was plural. We weren't repping a crew or anything like that, no gang stuff, but we were One Dope Kids of our city. And that energy, man, I remember like, yo, we're in control, right? Like we get to do what we want, right? Like we dance, we go to parties, he rapped, I was like DJing, all kinds of stuff, and that literally changed my life and my personality from being this shy, timid kid to being this confident, like artistic, cool ass dude, man. So it's like I just ran with that energy throughout my whole life, and that's what got me here to this day, man. So like I never let it go. So now I'm passing that same energy on to my community, and I'm teaching my ways, and like I'm just guiding people on like how to live that one dope kids lifestyle.
I love that, man. It's so inspiring. It's like you said before, we're kind of on like you know, we run parallel to each other with the type of things that we want to do, and it's just great to hear that coming from another dope human from the space. There's a number of people that I really admire and look up to, and the fact that you're doing what you're doing is just it's incredible, bro.
Likewise, man. I mean, I know from experience it's extremely difficult to juggle all these different things. And you have a kid, man, so that's like even more stuff on your plate. And the fact that you're here, you're vibing, you're creating stuff, you're creating art, you have your nonprofit, your initiative, like all this stuff is not easy. It weighs a ton, man. So absolute mad respect to you, man, and everything that you're doing. Um, so yeah, we're about 10 minutes away from closing this out. So if anybody has a question, wants to come up and make a statement, now's the time. Meanwhile, JT, man, let's go ahead and talk about, again, where you head, like what's the next thing, something to look out for. You said you have three pieces that you're finishing, right, by the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there's three pieces for the face value series that I'm planning on finishing, probably projecting like by the fall. I'll put them out one at a time, like I've been doing for probably the past few months on and off. And then also just really trying to get the first round of um, grant recipients for the ambassadorship program, like set, ready to go. Um, we're still just kind of waiting on, everything's been approved, everything's moved forward, but large organizations, as many people know, they just take a little longer to get things through their different teams and stuff. So once the funding comes, it's going right to the first round of grant recipients. I think the thing I'm most proud of about like the ambassadorship program is that I am not in any way, shape, or form playing curator for that. Like, if you submit a proposal, as long as you show that you are motivated to make your exhibit happen, I want to help. I'm not here to say that your art is not good enough or the event is not cool enough. It's nothing like that at all. And I want people to know and feel confident that if they submit a proposal and it's within the 25 that we're um, going to do this next year, um, that they have a really good shot at getting some funding for an exhibit. And the people that we've had so far for round one, they're like so dope. Like I said, Apa and like some other members of KS Style are doing like that exhibit in Nigeria. Douglas McCurdy is doing a dope show in Brooklyn. where it's at a spot that is it's like a gallery slash basketball court, which is totally on brand for him and like only something you'd find in a major city. And then there's an Argentinian artist named Dana who she's putting on a show um, at an event space out in Argentina, and then Brick Astley is putting on a show out in California, a big group show with a dope lineup, and it just feels really good to like have like the support of the foundation to support other people because I was going to do this on my own. I don't know how, but I was going to figure something out, and the fact that they kind of came in and were like, let's work together, let's make this happen. It just feels really good to be able to like make the phone call to these artists and be like, congratulations, you are an art ambassadors grant recipient, you are going to put on your exhibit. It's just one of the coolest feelings.
Bro, that's absolutely fucking incredible. I definitely need to tap in and speak to you like privately because like you said, a lot of stuff that you guys are doing, I'm wanting to do as well with Window Kids, but for the most part, Window Kids has been like primarily funded through me and myself with art and stuff like that. So you know how that can go, man. So it's like I'm really at a point where we want to expand and we have the artistic capability and ideas and stuff, but we just need to properly know how to tap into like foundations and stuff like that to make stuff really happen, not out of my pocket because that's a lot, man. So yeah, we'll definitely talk another time. I'll have Jay schedule something so we can have a one-on-one because I would really love to tap in and see how you guys made that happen, bro. Because that's absolutely fucking incredible.
Yeah, I would definitely more than happy to have a conversation with you about that, bro.
All right, man. We're just about the 1 hour mark. So the last question that I have for you, which is what I always like to end on, is if you can go back in time and have 2 minutes with young JT, what would you tell him?
Wow. um, I would tell young JT to realize that dreams can evolve, they can change, and they can exceed whatever you thought they were. Just to keep going as he's juggling a soccer ball at a basketball court. I can picture it. I see him. I think he knows that already. There was something. There was something there that he knew.
Dude, that's beautiful, man. Absolutely. What a pleasure, man. Thank you for taking the time and just coming in to vibe with me, talking about yourself, what you went through, your art, where you're headed. I really meeting you, bro. We hadn't had a one-on-one yet, so what a perfect place to do it.
Yeah, this was awesome, man. I really appreciate the questions. I appreciate everyone pulling up and hanging out on a Friday. And yeah, this was seriously it's so much fun. I don't get a chance to talk about myself in this manner. So I really appreciate it, brother.
Without a doubt, man. You know where we're at. Window Kids. I'm in space. Like, if you ever need anything, bro, you want to chat, just hit me anytime. I'll be there, bro. Um,
Likewise, fam.
yes, sir. That being said, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm about to close this out with a little bit of music. I hope everybody has an absolute fucking Friday going into the weekend. You know what I mean? Unwind. We go have some fun and just stay safe. Much love to everybody.